Miley Cyrus is a multi-talented artist. After starting her career at age 13 with the Disney company, there's no doubt that Miley has a very large catalog of interesting stories. But today we're going to dive into one of Miley's underground stories, and probably one of Miley's scariest stories ever. Let's talk about that. Our story begins in the year 2009. While on tour in Europe, Miley rented a flat in London right across the street from Harrods. She did this that way she could have a home away from home in Europe. That way while touring in Europe, she could basically have a home base to come back to instead of just jumping from hotel room to hotel room. But little did Miley know she was actually renting a nightmare. Instantly after moving in, Miley began to experience what many people who have moved into a haunted place have claimed to experience. By that, I mean the haunting kind of started with her having very surreal nightmares. Very realistic and disturbing nightmares. Most of these dreams included a very creepy little boy in old-time clothing. Miley just chalked up all these nightmares to just being very stressed out, which I completely understand. Don't get me started on stress nightmares. One night, Miley's little sister Noah was taking a shower when all of a sudden Miley heard Noah screaming at the top of her lungs. Miley rushed into the bathroom and noticed that Noah's skin had been burnt red. She claimed that she was in there taking a shower when all of a sudden the knob went from cold to as hot as it could go. The knob just turned from cold to hot completely by itself, burning Noah's skin. Miley then claimed that whenever she would use that shower, she would see the apparition of a little boy sitting on the sink, kicking his feet and watching her. Ugh, that's so creepy. Ugh. This makes me think that whatever spirit was in there, since it was a younger spirit, it might have taken a liking to Miley. And since he was younger, maybe he grew jealous of Noah. I mean, Noah was only 13 at the time. But Miley wanted answers. She wanted to do more research on the apartment itself, but her mom discouraged it because she didn't want her to scare Noah. Once, Miley's aunt was staying at the apartment by herself. She locked the door behind her whenever she left, but whenever she came back, the door was wide open, as well as every window and every door inside of the apartment. Her aunt was unaware of any of the paranormal occurrences that had been happening at the apartment, and she was just completely freaked out. She honestly thought that somebody must have just broken into the house. But if someone were to break into the apartment, why would they open all the windows and doors? Why would they leave it with evidence that somebody had been inside? Now everybody that had stayed inside of the apartment began to experience this apparition, including Liam Hemsworth. But there are no real details on any of their experiences other than they were creepy enough to make the family leave. So the family left this very luxurious apartment in London and started hotel hopping. After moving out of the apartment, Miley researched the apartment and what she found out was very creepy. You see, the apartment building before it became apartments actually used to be a family-owned bakery. And for generations, the bakery was passed down from father to son. Now the story kind of had a bunch of mixed up details. I mean, it's from the early 1900s to late 1800s. I'm not really sure when it necessarily took place. But basically it involved the bakery going out of business due to the baker's wife getting very sick. And now there's a ghost boy that haunts the apartment building. And Miley has claimed that she will never, ever sleep in that building again. Now that was kind of a short story, and I had a story that I really wanted to tell you guys. So this past weekend, I was actually in Kansas City with my girlfriend, as I do. While I was there, we went to Union Station, which is this old, still functioning train station that constantly has new museums and stuff that are inside of it. So while we were there, I really had to pee. And we were kind of in the back of the station a little bit. So I walk into this big empty bathroom, and I mean to tell you, this is probably the biggest bathroom I've ever seen in my life. Like, think Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, you know, whenever they're in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. That's what it looked like. Just this big, creepy, old bathroom. And no one else is in there, you know, which didn't really shock me. This was like 7 o'clock. And we were towards the back of the station. Most of the exhibits were towards the front of the station, you know. So I didn't really think much of it. I knew that I was by myself. So then as I'm standing there peeing, I hear a toilet flush. And I was like, that's odd. I totally thought I was in here by myself. Oh well, you know. So get done, turn around, start to wash my hands. And I notice that nobody is in there. Though I just heard the toilet flush, there was nobody inside of there. And then as I'm washing my hands, I see out of the corner of my eye, one of the stall doors slowly open. Now, the weird thing is, most of the doors to the stalls were already open. There were like 2, 3, 4 that were shut, but I could tell that they were empty just because like you could see people's legs. Well, there were no legs in there. So that door opens by itself, and then the door next to it just opens by itself. And I'm sitting there washing my hands, and the door next to it's already open. The door next to that one's already open. But the next one opens by itself. Next one's open, next one's open, next one's open, next one opens by itself. So now I'm freaked out. I take off running out of the bathroom. I don't even stop to dry my hands. I'm just like wiping them on my clothes, you know, shaking them dry. Just take off running, and I get out to the hallway where I see my girlfriend, and I tell her, I was like, hey, there's a ghost in there. And she was like, no, believe me, there's a ghost in that bathroom too. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so creepy. Which, I mean, I know it sounded really uneventful, but it happened. Honestly, most of my paranormal experiences aren't really eventful, which is why I haven't really made videos talking about my paranormal experiences, because like, yeah, they're scary to me, but that's because I was there, so I don't really think that you'd be very interested in hearing most of my scary stories. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think of either of these stories. I'd be very curious to hear what you think. I'm not just saying that, I really do want to know what you think, guys. So please like and subscribe, and as always, guys, be nice to each other.
Hey baby, I misunderstood you. Hey baby, didn't mean to hurt you. The words came out so fast, I know I could have